Well, there's not too much to say about this cover because it's just a map of Compton, but thank you to everybody who's been hitting me up on Twitter, Facebook, etc. with the congratulations because I finally had my baby boy. Well, my wife did because I don't have a vagina, but my baby boy is here. Everyone is happy and healthy, so just bear with me over the next little while as I fall into the new schedule and keep putting out these reviews. You might notice they're coming out at some weird times, but the channel is definitely going to move forward. So thank you to everybody for the congrats, the continued support, and also your patience. What's up, everybody? It's Luke James, not the singer. If you're an indie artist looking for an album review and some promo, you can hit up Luke at redmattersite.com. And today we're going to talk about the game's soundtrack album, The Streets of Compton. And this one was made for a little A&E documentary series by the same name. So just by looking at what this is called, you already know that you're in for a bunch of West Coast Compton-based content. So if you like that West Coast style, that West Coast sound and content, then you're going to love this one, man. You'll probably already know that just by seeing that it's a game record. Now, right away, one of the songs that really stuck out on here to me is the song Death Row Chain, because this one is a little bit of a history lesson as Game talks about everything that went on with Death Row and with some of the other West Coast artists from Eazy-E, Ice Cube, Snoop Dre, and whatever. A little bit of a history lesson there, like I said. And he also ties it into what he was going through in his life, how he was listening to Death Row when he was just a young guy coming up, when he was a teenager, and how he would do anything for a Death Row Chain and to be part of the label. So I found it pretty cool how even though this was a soundtrack album, it's still pretty cohesive. Every song has Game on it. There's some other features as well, but Game is definitely telling some of his personal stories, and again, he's all over this one. So it didn't really feel like one of those soundtracks where you have a bunch of artists just coming together, there's no cohesion, it's all over the place. This one was basically just a Game album that ended up being a soundtrack for this A&E documentary series. So I thought that was pretty cool how he brought that personal content, including on Gang Signs, where we get this breezy vocal production, and Game is rapping about how he got into gangbanging, and he also touches on the effects of this gang violence and how people are killing each other over colors, and it's just happening all over Compton and all over the world really, because we all know gangs are everywhere. But even when Game is coming through with some more simple content, he's still dropping the gems. I mean, Roped Off is basically just a grimy banger featuring Problem, Boogie, and a really fat bass line. And Unfollow Me Bitch also features Problem, and it's just a fun summertime type of track, man. I really like this one a lot, despite that basic content, just about girls, bitches, hoes, etc., having sex, you know, just the basic run-of-the-mill type of shit. But it sounds good, man. I like that it borrows from Snoop Dogg's classic Ain't No Fun, and it's definitely some fun music that you can turn up to and maybe bump while you're driving around in your car on a hot sunny day. And really, there weren't any songs on here that I thought were trash, but there were a couple that I kind of thought were fillerish and I just couldn't really vibe with, including the songs Bullshit and Hit the News. These ones are just kind of your generic banger type of tracks, and Hit the News definitely has some struggle bars on there, like when Game has this one line about how rappers are Fruit Loops, Toucan Sam, and then there's this other whole thing where he's saying that your head will get busted and turn into nachos over cheese because there was beef, just something like that. You'll know it when you hear it, but it was just some really forced food references and it didn't really sit right with me, man. The shit just kind of sounded like he was really trying to cram that in there, but I don't know, I guess if you like food references in your rap, you might appreciate that one. I also thought that For the Homies was just one of those generic I miss my homies type of tracks, so even though I do appreciate the sentiment because they're just rapping and dedicating this song to loved ones who have passed on, it just has a pretty typical sound, very soft production, some R&B vocals, and also some auto-tuning on that verse from Peso that kind of threw the whole track off. So this was one of my least favorites, actually my #1 least favorite on here. I just didn't really vibe with it too much, but again, man, I didn't really think it was trash. There wasn't any song on here that I would say is all out garbage, which is why I think that this is a pretty good soundtrack slash album. There's all kinds of songs on here that you might like, including the song Like Me, which has a bit of an old school feel to it because of those clangy drums and the sample-based production. And this is another track where Game is kind of getting personal, rapping about his drug dealing past, so he's bringing that content throughout this whole thing. And the last track that I want to mention right quick before we get out of here is the song Can't Wait, because at first I thought it was pretty corny. It just has Game rapping about his two guns, Sue and Woo, and he's kind of personifying and rapping about them as if they were women, just his twin girlfriends, but I don't know, man. In the end, I ended up liking this one quite a bit. I really like the beat. It has a spacey feel to it, and the way Game is rapping in that kind of sly, underhanded, and low way really worked on this one, I thought. He had a softer vocal style, so this is one of those tracks I didn't like at first, but it grew on me and ended up being one of my favorites. And overall, I'm feeling this at a 3.5 out of 5, man. I think the shit is pretty dope and you should definitely check it out. It was better than I was expecting, especially since Game has put out so much music just recently with his double disc, and you know, Game stays pretty busy with the features as well. But put this one on if you want some more of that West Coast shit. We already got YG, Still Brazy, and you can put this one in right in that same mix and it would just feel comfortable. You'd be right at home if that's the type of shit that you like. But that's just what I thought about this one. You guys check it out for yourself if you haven't, and hit me up in the comments section to let me know what you think about the Streets of Compton soundtrack by The Game. I also want you to do all that good YouTube and social media stuff where you like my videos, you share them, you follow me on Twitter, you retweet the videos, and you especially subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching, everybody. I will see you next time.